On this episode of Racing on the Job, go inside a NASCAR decal department and see how painstaking attention to detail helps bring the brilliant colors of a race car to life.
Ryan Sparks.
Nick Brody.
Justin Harris.
We're part of the Decal Shop.
And
we're racing on the job.
So we wrap cars instead of painting them because two main reasons. There's a big weight savings in wrapping a car versus painting a car, and the turnaround time takes a lot longer to paint a car than it does to wrap. It helps to be able to print your own wraps in-house and install it where you can have it done in a matter of hours, not a couple days.
Literally, I couldn't put this much on without air bubbles being all over, but these guys are able to do it. Literally, it's like a symphony watching them do a car with no flaws, and they're perfect. Really, one of the reasons that we do decals ourselves is because it's efficient. Whether it's a concept coming from a sponsor's brain somewhere across the country that says, this is what I want the car to look like, and they translate it and they send it to us, and we put it into our program that sort of orientates it to where it's going to print out on the car. Then we print it right here on our printers, hand it to our guys who put it right on the car. You're talking about a process that can be less than 2 days from the very concept to actually having a race car, and that's impossible if you're depending on a vendor or an outside source. So doing that ourselves gives us much more control, and it really ensures that we can go to our sponsors and say, hey, these cars look exactly the way that you envisioned that they were going to look when we started talking.
One of the coolest things we've been able to figure out is how to integrate as many decals as possible on the car. What that does is that not only saves time for Ryan when he has to install the wrap, but it saves a lot of material. So if you can print in quarter panel logos and door numbers and rocker logos, it's all in one layer, so you're saving ink, time, and money.
Having the artwork meet up on the sides, the same place it meets up on the hood, so it all wraps over. That can be probably one of the trickier parts. One of my favorite parts of my actual job itself is getting to design a car myself. That's really cool, just to turn on the TV and actually see your work on the racetrack. That's pretty rewarding. This is a traditional layout that we use to get approvals on from both sponsors and NASCAR. And I move artwork around kind of as it would be seen on the car to get that approval.
All right, so once I get the print files from Justin here, my job is to print the wrap. And what we have here is a caramel hood off the M&M's car. And the printer that we actually use to print this is an Epson 10-color printer, which helps us hit a lot of these really bright colors that are in the hood wrap here. Once it's printed, it gets printed on a 3M vinyl. We trim it down, and I give it to Ryan to install on the car.
This is a torch. I use this a lot. This makes me look really good. Keeps the wrinkles and...
Don't you know a trick with that?
I do know a trick with it. You want to see it?
Yeah, I want to.
Probably get in trouble for that.
Do you want to just peel it?
Yeah,
and then
I would just peel it. One guy pulls the paper, and the other two guys. So big.
Huge!
But as far as what we're doing here, we're just going to continue to lay this down. What I'm looking for out of race cars is for it to stay on for about a week and make it through the whole race without anything blowing off. And when it comes back, it all gets stripped off. As far as air bubbles, all the vinyl has what they call air release, and it's just little holes in the vinyl that you can't see. They're that small, they're microscopic, and it just lets the air that's in this bubble would let it out. Where this one is, you can't just let it out. You got to do something else. And what I found is that heat, if you heat it, it'll let all that air out. It helps it out. I think we lined it up pretty good.
It's funny, I always say that the secret sauce of NASCAR is that in NASCAR, the sponsor is the team. What I mean by that is Denny Hamlin, who's his team? It's the FedEx team. There is no pro sports team that is ever going to be called the New York FedExes, for example. But in our sport, they are the identity of the team, which is great if you're a sponsor, because again, it's your brand, it's your team, it's sort of your platform, your billboard to do with whatever you want. We are the stewards of these world-class brands that have decades and decades of brand equity, and it's like this great privilege that we've got to make sure everything's perfect. The way the logo sits, the way the color is, and so that's the reason really that we do it in-house, because we want to control that ourselves.
My favorite thing about working here is winning races. A little perk about winning races is you get free ice cream and donuts after you win, and that's my one of my vices is donuts and ice cream. So I like to partake in that.
You don't like ice cream?
Not at all.
Hammer!